I bought this mechanically totaled 2006 Mercedes R500 from the famed car YouTuber Samcrac, and in the last video I've done a bunch of necessary maintenance that was deferred in this car, and on this video I'm going to continue to change whatever I need to make it drivable. In the last video, Sam brought to my attention that I forgot to add the engine mounts and the trans mounts, so let me add them here. One thing I forgot to add was the valve cover gaskets and the breather hoses, because you saw when I did the idler that my valve covers are just leaking horribly. One thing we can cross out that is no longer necessary is going to be the purge valve, because we found out that it was just a bad gas cap. Today I'm going to do the front brake rotors in a fluid flush. I didn't buy the pads because they're brand new, and I considered getting the old rotors and resurfacing it, but by the time you spend on resurface and you buy paint to make it nice and all that good stuff, because I want it to look nice, I'm going to be in the same money as a new rotor, because these were 30 bucks each at Rock Auto. However, I did buy the rear rotors, but I bought ventilated rotors because I read somewhere that the R500 had ventilated, and when I went to check, stupid of me to not have checked that first, it's actually solid. So I'm going to have to return those, and I'll do the front now, and when I get the new rear rotors, I'll just replace them. Let's get started. Now I'm flushing the brakes. I tried using a vacuum pump, but that didn't work well for whatever reason. I'm not sure. So I asked Gorgeous Wife to be inside the car pumping the brakes while I operate the purge valve, and that worked beautifully. And I also did all four brakes. I just don't want to bore you guys by showing each one of them. So you're going to have to trust me. Now we're going to do a cooling system cleaner. We're going to flush the system several times. We're going to put a lot of distilled water in. So I'm just going to pour this in right now. Should have thought this through. Managed to put all the flush in, and the coolant is the wrong color. It's green. Somebody put green coolant, and European cars take either blue or pink. I don't even know, is this GM? I'm not sure. Could be Ford. There's some old Fords with green coolant. But anyway, I had to drain a little bit of the coolant from underneath, and I was able to put all of the flush in. Now I'm going to drive it for a few days before I start doing the flush. All right, guys, so I ran the coolant flush for about a week. Now we're going to start draining and run distilled water until it comes out nice and clear. And then got the coolant draining, as you can hear. And just to show you guys, Valvoline is the actually OEM coolant for Mercedes. And this is, it says here Mercedes-Benz, and it says in the back, good for Mercedes from 1991 to 2014. So this is a 2006, because after 2014, they started using a different chemical composition. It's the pink coolant, it's not the blue. And while I'm in there, I'm also going to do the thermostat because I don't know when it was done the last time. So, you know, this is cheap and it's cheap insurance. And this one is Vimo that I got from Rock Auto. So there you go. Let's drain the coolant. Let's change the thermostat. There you go. This is the original, so I'm happy we're replacing. Here's the old thermostat and the O-ring. You can see it's pretty hard. And this is the OEM thermostat. So it's 18 years old. It was just a matter of time. So you do have to replace these as maintenance. I'm going to put the plug back in. Got distilled water. All right, so now I'm going to turn the car on. We're going to put the heat in maximum and just let some of that air come out. All right, so I flushed a couple of times. Now we're going to start going in with the good stuff, with the blue coolant. Done filling with coolant. Let's close this out. Now we're going to do the voltage regulator. Got this Bosch from FCP Eero. That's how it comes. No big deal. You got your new voltage reg. And it's got nice new leads. Let's pull the old one out and see how it looks. And before we mess with anything electrical, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. There's the alternator. On the Mercedes R500, you can work on it without taking it out, just from underneath the car and behind, as you can see me wedging my hands in there. but eventually I had to take out the alternator anyway because I stripped one of the Phillips bolts, which was very unfortunate. All right, let's see what's the condition of the voltage regulator. It might be OEM. Oh boy, look at this. It's definitely OEM. Look at the size of the prongs on this one. Look at the new one. You can see the size difference. Yes, it does matter. Let's put the new one in. And I'm going to go in with the same crusty bolt, because now it's a flathead, not a Phillips. So after a lot of fighting, cursing, I got the alternator back in, connected everything together. I sent it some grounds. I put dielectric grease. Everything is connected. Now let's start the car. Now I'm going to do the spark plugs. And the reason I'm going to do this, I don't know the maintenance history on the car. And I pulled a couple of plugs. One was loose. The other one was gapped incorrectly. So there's 16 plugs in this engine that I don't trust. I have these Denso plugs. They're not the best, but they seem to be good. They're platinum and they're gapped correctly. I checked the gap on every single one of them and they are 44 thousandths of an inch. Now let's get this done. So here's the story with the spark plugs and coils on the passenger side. The good news is that they're all Bosch. They all seem to be OEM. I don't think these were ever changed in a car. Some of them were loose. Some of them were gapped with 38 thousandths and some of them were gapped with 40 thousandths. The spec is 44 thousandths of an inch for gapping the spark plug. So not great. The other challenge that I'm having is that all of these connectors are gone. They're just complete trash. So I'm going to put them back, but I'm going to have to buy new connectors because this is just not viable. I'm done doing all the 16 spark plugs. It was a lot easier than I thought, and mostly because I had the right tool. This is a Mercedes-ish spark plug tool, and it's the right size, it's magnetic, it swivels, it's absolutely great. It makes the job a lot easier. I got it for 10 bucks on Amazon. And the story with the spark plugs, I think these are OEM. You guys let me know. You're the experts. But some are fouled up. Some have a weird orange-like grease that I can't identify. Of course, I broke some tabs, or they were already broken and brittle. But so hopefully the fuel consumption gets a little bit better now. We've come to the end of the video, and I've done basically 4 major things on the car this time. So I've done the brakes, I've done the spark plugs, I've done the coolant and the thermostat, and also the voltage regulator. There's quite a few other things that I need to do. Next, I'm going to resolve whatever issue the air conditioner has, that it's not working properly. And I'm also going to tackle the rear shocks and a few other things. So if you're interested in videos like this, make sure you subscribe and you give it a like. Thank you.